Please come to order.
Say it again louder and in the microphone.
Please come to order.
Good evening, everyone. Would you join me in silencing your cell phones? Thank you. Joining the City Commission at the podium this evening are members of the Youth Council Task Force. The members consist of graduating senior chair Aliza Cardo, Vice Chairman Carson Stepp, Member Tillman Uria, Member Ava Grimaldi, and rising junior Member Kayla Kavanaugh. This meeting body reviews and evaluates problems facing the youth of our city and collaborates on ideas with recommendations to present to the city. The commission will enjoy their company for the first half of the meeting. They have been working hard, and this is the end result of their work through the year. They will be conducting the first part of the meeting and will be excused after we complete the consent agenda. Madam Chairman.
The regular meeting of the City Commission for Tuesday, May 9th, 2023 may come to order. Please silence all cell phones. City Clerk, please call the roll.
City Commission, Mayor Cleveland.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner McGurk.
Here.
Commissioner Perrine.
Here.
Youth Council Task Force. Chair Cardo.
Here.
Vice Chair Stepp.
Here.
Member Arietti.
Here.
Member Grimaldi.
Here.
Member Kavanaugh.
Here.
Thank you.
Would you please stand as Police Department Chaplain Pete Carter delivers our invocation?
Let us pray. Our God, our Creator, we come to you again, thanking you for this opportunity to gather to discuss those things that would help to move our city forward in the spirit of unity, peace, and love. We're especially grateful for this youth council whom you've stationed even now to follow in a biblical principle that you've laid out for us, and that is to train up the child in the way that they should go. And when they're older, they will not depart from it. So we hope and trust and pray now, God, that you will continue to bless them in these endeavors, that they will grow now and be the leaders of tomorrow. Bless all those who live, reside, and visit this place we call New Smyrna Beach. May they find it a welcome place to be. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Is student Rico Servin in the room? If not, please remain standing. I'd like to introduce for the first time our newest police chief, Eric Feldman, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Chief Feldman.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
City Manager, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. I have two changes. I'm adding one item or two items to the administrative items. The first one is a letter to the county regarding the Edward Vine Memorial Justice Assistant grants. And the second item is a proposal from Tericon, a testing company regarding the crushing concrete site. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to invite Fire Chief Sean Vandemark to the podium to conduct an awards presentation.
Well, good evening, Commission and youth. Thank you for being here, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to present some what I consider some really significant heroes in my book. I got three individuals. I'm going to go ahead and bring them on up. I have Acting Lieutenant Jake Davies, Stephen Jones, driver engineer, and Michael D.P. Trantonio, which I don't see. He's on a call. He's on a call. There's a cat in a tree somewhere, and Michael's handling that. So come on up, gentlemen. These three gentlemen were engaged in a structure fire a couple weeks ago. During the course of that fire, they made entry with flames, obviously flames overhead, stretching hose lines in, looking for what they knew was a resident who was supposed to be home. When they got in there, they made a right-hand entry, right-hand search pattern, and found the gentleman basically half under a cabinet, as if he were trying to escape or grab a fire extinguisher or something like that. These three quickly and effectively drug him out of the building, handed him off to Volusia County EMS, who treated him on scene, and he actually refused treatment. So because of their actions, Michael included, who's not here, because of their actions, that gentleman is alive today. Without their expedience and their efficiency and their courage, that gentleman wouldn't be with us today. So I want to congratulate these three. I want to give you all the opportunity. I know I expound on what these men and women do routinely, but this commission who puts the safety of the public above all else, I want you to also recognize these guys and what they've done on that day. So thank you very much. So as is tradition, we do two things. We give them a piece of paper, which earns them nothing, but it is still a recognition, a piece of paper. And then also to adhere to attach to their uniform, we give them what is called the Life Saving Award. They will now have earned this, and they are able to wear this from now until the end of their career with the New Smyrna Fire Department. So there you go, gentlemen. Yeah, if you'd like to, come on up and we'll get your photos with them. Yeah. All right, come on up.
Commission will come down and pose with the awardees.
Yeah, bring the young folks too. And we're always looking for good young people, so if they have good clean driving records, we're taking applications.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and citizens. My name is Alize Cardo, and I serve as the Chair of the Youth Council Task Force. We would like to outline a presentation for you this evening.
My name is Tillman Arietti. I'd like to thank the City Commission for the opportunity to present our ideas today. We'll start with our mission statement. So, as an organization, we look to review and evaluate the problems facing the youth in the city, facilitate these neighborhood meetings with the youth to discuss problems, needs, and suggested improvements for our community. Following this, we'll plan to meet with the city staff and directors to collaborate on ideas and discuss issues, concerns, and needed improvements to benefit New Smyrna Beach. And eventually, like we are doing today, we'd like to present these recommended improvements with our projects at the City Commission meeting. So our first recommendation, we're asking for the consideration of the adoption of the resolution of number 16 through 23. During our February 23rd meeting, we discussed how to change the meeting body requirements and membership criteria to accommodate more students and require at least 1 year of experience for the chair position. We shared these ideas with City Attorney Carrie Avalone and City Clerk Kelly McKellen and received feedback and suggestions. We're proud to present that this is our first official legislative action request from the Youth Council Task Force since it was established in 2012. The item is listed on this evening's consent agenda. In the resolution, we're looking to increase the number of members of the Youth Council from 5 to 7. By doing this, we'd be able to extend our outreach to kids in New Smyrna and kids at the high school to hopefully create more ideas and create more options to improve the city. Along with this, with the act to increase the chairman's position to have 1 year of experience, we're looking for this so that this person can be a leader and can truly represent the Youth Council Task Force to the best of their abilities.
My name is Carson Stepp. Thank you again, Mayor and City Commissioners, for having us up here. One of our big goals for this year was getting the youth involved in the community a little bit more. So we were able to speak to Director of Leisure Services, Rob Salazar, and Assistant Director, Kim LaShelton. We asked for their input on youth activities. We made a few suggestions and actually took surveys at the school. This led to the creation of a youth dodgeball tournament, which I believe has been postponed, but we're looking to get a fair amount of youth to join that, play in that tournament. And we had also been able to get a skate night at the roller rink, which was nice. These are the flyers that were sent out to the youth to join these activities, and we would like for Leisure Services to do more activities like this in the future. And if you have any youth that would be interested in this, please let them know. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Mayor and City Commission, for having us. I would like to present our second recommendation. We noticed as a council that there was kind of a lack of a bridge between older generations and younger generations in the city. So we came up with the idea to place some game placements at Pettis Park, Old Fort Park, and the North Causeway boat ramp, including cornhole and chess tables. So we have gotten all of our locations approved by the proper city officials. So we did some research on a cost breakdown, and the average chess table, concrete chess table ranges from $1,911 up to $3,540, and pairs of stools are extra, and they start at an average of $420 a pair. Cornhole is a little bit cheaper than that. The average price for a set of 2 cornhole boards is around $1,300. And we have found the T-Mobile beautification grant, and what we are looking for today is your approval of the location and of the idea so that we can apply for the T-Mobile beautification grant, which pens your approval, and that would be for the locations at Pettis Park and Old Fort Park. We have been approved into the grant of the creation of the park at the boat ramps, so the cornhole would be covered at that location. We would look for chess tables at Old Fort Park and cornhole at Pettis Park, as well as the boat ramp park. The balance could also be covered through our fundraising, and the Youth Council Task Force has a club account at New Smyrna Beach High School. Thank you.
Awesome.
So for our next recommendation, we were hoping as we moved on to our next shark statue phase, we could gain your approval. We've talked over and over again about how we could improve the project and how we could add on to it. And a couple years ago, we started by creating 5 shark statues. And we had local artists paint on them. And we came up with tons of different ideas. And that council last year all met up and decided on which ones they were going to do. And as they put them around the city, it helped gain a positive mindset. And there's a lot of stigma around the idea that we're the shark capital of the world, the shark bite capital of the world. And these sharks being placed around, they help the art flourish in our city and create a positive mindset around this. And as it gained popularity, we came up with 5 new projects. And We approved, we spoke throughout each individual meeting. We came up with which new artists we were going to paint the sharks and which new locations we were going to do. The new locations we chose were the North Causeway Boat Ramp, the West Side, the golf course, the Riverside Park, Sports Complex, and Mary Avenue Park. And once we've already decided on which artists we're going to be doing, they're going to have the option of which place they like to choose, and we're going to take their preference into consideration. But otherwise, wherever the sharks will go will be up to random. So these are the rough sketches that they've submitted to us, and these are the ones that we approved. We've had Megan Bosma and Lauren Johnson, and Laura Johnson submitted previously last year, but she wasn't approved that year, but we still love the design. We wanted to move her on for this year. And then Eliza Midget created a shark statue last year and came up with another design, and we approved it again this year. And then Katie Smith was a completely new application, and this is her first year applying. And then Nancy Connors as well applied last year, and we approved her this year. And then on the right, we have Nancy Connors' application, and you can see where she threw out her ideas of where she'd like them to be, and a rough sketch of what she wants all over the shark.
Hello, my name is Kyla Kavanaugh, and I would like to thank everyone for the opportunity to present another project that the Youth Council has been planning. So in continuation of the Youth Council's last year initiative to place 13 fire hydrants around the city, this year we have continued this project to expand the connection between community members and artists. So we have allowed 13 local artists to paint fire hydrants that will be placed in the posted locations on the slide. Some of the more prominent locations of the 13, we have Canal Street, we have Flagler, the Sports Complex, and Pettis Park. And we have used the school account funds to provide $20 to each artist for supplies. And in order to expand the outreach of this program, we have lowered the age limit to 16. So this allows a greater range of citizens and a greater range of artistic perspectives to be included in the project. And also we've acknowledged that some may raise concerns with the safety when we're interfering with fire hydrants. However, we have decided that we will not be touching the bonnets of the fire hydrants so that they can preserve the integrity and the purpose of the fire hydrants. So here we have one of the approved fire hydrant artist submissions from Noella Goss. In their artist's piece, they described their message behind the art, and they stated that they intended to create a more childlike and cartoonish approach to the city to create a more positive outlook on the marine wildlife that New Smyrna Beach has to offer. And in this second fire hydrant that has been approved, Katie Smith stated that their inspiration came from the landscape that is present in New Smyrna Beach, particularly in Riverside and Canal Street. And in her design, she included some of the flowers and vegetation that she thinks gives New Smyrna Beach its character. Thank you.
And then we'd just like to thank everybody who helped us through this process and came to our meetings and took us step by step about how we should go along with each recommendation we'd like to make, as well as Mr. Woodard and Ms. Kelly. We really appreciate everyone who's helped us. And thank you to the City Commission and the Mayor and the Vice Mayor.
Thank you so much, Madam Chairwoman. I appreciate you guys being up here this afternoon and throughout the year. Are the parents in the room of these leaders? Please rise. Congratulations. Thank you so very much. You have set the example and the standard. These are the future leaders of our city. They are the leaders of the youth today, and we're grateful for your parenting, your mentorship, and your coaching and advice to get them this far along, and I cannot wait to watch their stars rise as we go down the road together. Thank you very, very much. The Youth Council Task Force has made 3 recommendations. The first recommendation listed will be on the consent agenda this evening in a resolution. The other 2 recommendations require consensus of the City Commission to direct the staff to move forward and carry out the plans for the gaming activity placement and the shark statue placement. The members have worked with various members of the city staff under the guidance of the city clerk, receiving the necessary direction and consultation required to put their ideas into action. Is there a consensus from the commission to direct the staff to move forward with recommendations 2 and 3? I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to move forward the 2 recommendations.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second. Is there any discussion by the commission?
I'd just like to say, great job, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate the time and effort that you have put into it. I think continuing the shark statues are fantastic. I mean, it's so new, Smyrna. It's something that's unique to us, and carrying that forward is fantastic. So hopefully you guys get out of this as much as we're getting out of it. We're loving your guys' participation. So hope you enjoyed your time putting this together for us.
Thank you, Commissioner McGurk. Commissioner Martin.
Yes? I mean, we all know how enthusiastic we are about the Youth Council. And I hope that we will extend the number, and that we'll have a couple of terms for each to make sure that we can overlap.
Perfect.
So thank you all for what you've done.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Perrine.
Melts my heart to see you guys up here, and I really want to thank you for being involved in your community and also in government. So thank you.
Excellent. Vice Mayor.
It's really a heartfelt thanks for you guys showing up and participating like this. It gives us a chance to reach out to that portion of the community that we don't always see all the time, especially in here. So you're reaching out to the youth of today, tomorrow, and the leaders of tomorrow. So it's encouraging to see that you're actively involved in this, and you're truly putting all the hard work into this that you've done. I agree with Commissioner McGurk. I think the shark statues was a fantastic idea a few years ago, and to continue that on is a great asset to the city. So we certainly do appreciate everything that you've done. Maybe one day we'll see you all up here. So good luck.
Absolutely. Well done. Well said, Commission. My favorite, I got to admit, are the fire hydrants. Those things are awesome. They're the bomb. So thank you. And I know Chief Vandermark and I share that sentiment. So thank you all for that. With that, Madam City Clerk, please call the question and take the vote.
Sure. Consensus to move forward with both recommendations 2 and 3. Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perrine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Unanimous vote. Thank you very, very much. Congratulations to the task force members. The recommendation that you have made to add improvements and benefits to our community have indeed been approved. The goals and objectives in your mission statement have been accomplished. We appreciate your time and dedication in serving the city in this capacity. We wish you the best of luck with your future endeavors. Thanks each and every one of you for being here tonight and your work all year long. I'd like to personally thank the city clerk, Kelly McQuillan, for your leadership and your stewardship of this effort. Kelly, it really, really is a tremendous outreach. You've done a fantastic job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
With that said, City Manager, have you got a report, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And thanks for all the Youth Council for their recommendation and their hard work. It's really appreciated, and we're really excited to make that into an action. Just want to report, I think mentioned briefly last time, but it's the city received $1 million from the state for the Pine Island Aqua Court canal dredging and cleanup. So that's a big step for the cleanup from the hurricane. We also have received $1 million from the USDA, and that is for the Turnbull Creek South. The mayor and I, we attended, excuse me, the mayor and I attended the roundtable on Monday. There is quite a bit of information from the county that I would like to share briefly with the commission and the public as well. As far as beach access, as of April 28th, 93 out of 141 walkovers are open. 14 parks open, I'm talking about the county. 18 ramps open to the public for wheelchair access. The contractor access is available at all beach ramps. Some of the best news that it's coming, they have spent $5 million under emergency sand placement. That's including the trap bags and then the sand that they got from Find and the Edgewater pit. As of May 1st, they have placed or they've removed 4,900 cubic yards of debris from the beach. They have also installed 5,500 lineal feet of trap bags that were on the beach as well. The DEP, they have $37.6 million for Volusia County beach recovery. They continue to do that, working with the state agency, but the biggest news that the county have shared with us on Monday, that administratively, they removed, this is the states, they removed the May 1st construction restrictions on existing permits. So as you recall, as of May 1st, there is no construction on the beach. So they removed that in order for beach property owners, they could do the recovery on the beach. Vacant properties with existing seawalls can replace the seawall. Armoring and walkover construction, it's approved. However, the one thing that caveat that goes with this to after they pass May 1st, that they have to comply with the FWC, the turtle surveys. So that survey must be completed prior to access the beach. And FWC discretion if a nest is laid. So if there's a nest laid in the area, they probably will have a different. And then washboard surveys later in the season, they will do that. We had 2 public participation at the last meeting.
Colin, before you go on, this is such a remarkable thing. It was this commission and this chamber where your voices were heard that people's rights are in danger absent that law change. This was not a classic season. Therefore, the classic rules needed to be adjusted. It was the work that we brought forward to Tallahassee, that we brought forward to the county, and the chorus of city after city along our coastline that demanded to the DEP that they do something different than they ordinarily do. And as late as a month ago, when we went to Tallahassee to protest, the DEP was not budging. They blamed the feds for saying, no, we can't do it. You must stop your building. That would have put residents, condominiums, businesses in jeopardy up and down our coastline. That was rolled back is no insignificant feat. So just for the record, Colin, well done on bringing that mission forward. Well done to our residents for your letters, your cards, your behests to this commission and up to the county. It really paid off and made a difference, and every voice was heard and the right thing was done here.
Thank you, Mayor. At the last meeting, we only had 2 public participation comments. The first comment was by 2 people, one from the Resident Coalition and one from the NSB Alliance, and that was regarding the historic preservations. They made some comments regarding the historic preservations. There is no action needed at this point. However, I just want to point out that we have a public meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock to discuss the historic preservation issue, and in particular, the lot combination and the height restriction. There was another comment regarding the House Bill 1311 and Senate Bill 1380, which everybody has sent letters to the state. They also mentioned about the 3rd annual Southeast Volusia Economic Summits that will be at the Brannan Center, and I guess they're preparing for it. So for the 2 items, there wasn't any action needed. With that, I'll be brief, and if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions by any member of the commission? Just a comment, Colin, the Brannan Center will be the site for tomorrow afternoon's event, yes? Okay.
Yes, sir, Brannan Center at 5 o'clock.
Very good. And those 2 bills, one the House bill and the Senate bill that we were tracking and wrote a letter after the commission agreed that we should protest, had to do with capping the amount of revenue the city could receive from our utility commission. I'm informed that those 2 bills did not make it to the floor and are dead for this legislative season. So that'll be over for this year. Okay. It's now time for public participation. If there's any citizen that would like to speak and offer your opinion, it's a monologue, not a dialogue. We'd invite you to come. We want to listen to what you have to say. We will not be answering questions, but the city manager will be taking notes and either reach out with his contact information or seek yours. As you approach the podium, please notice the lights up there. There are 3 lights. The green light indicates you have 3 minutes. Yellow light will be 1 minute to go, and the red light means you are finished. When you come up, please give your name and address for the record to the city clerk. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you for having us. This is on. I'm Carol Killian. I live in Daytona Beach, 1218 Champions Drive. I'm here to represent Volusia Volunteers in Medicine. I believe some of you already know about this. The history of the clinic is it's a volunteer-based medical clinic providing free primary care to qualified adults living in Volusia County, all of Volusia County. VVIM was founded as a part of Daytona Beach Vision Plan back in 2015, and we have been seeing a lot of patients since then, in Daytona, as well as New Smyrna patients coming up to us in the last several years. What we're excited about now, though, is that for the past few months, through a partnership with the Florida Department of Health here in New Smyrna Beach, local volunteers and doctors and nurses have been caring for patients by appointment only, one Friday each month at the location here on Canal Street. Now, as we get more information out there, more doctors and nurses from the local area to help us out, obviously we want to be able to have more time rather than just one Friday a month. But I want to tell you, during that 5 days that we've had here, just since we started this, we've had 18 patients, and I wanted to share a couple of stories with you. A gentleman got a hearing aid, which we were able to get for him and pay for, and he said it basically changed his life. I mean, it made us feel just terrific. A local homeless man whose mom said that she brought him in to see us had very high blood pressure. We've gotten that under control just in the last couple of weeks. And she said it's probably the best thing that ever happened in his life. I think he's had a struggle during his life. Another patient was diagnosed with larynx cancer, and we've already moved him to the oncology center at Halifax Hospital. So that's just a side note a little bit. We're really proud of the services that we can provide. To qualify for the free care, and it's by appointment only, like I said, patients aged 19 to 65 do not have health insurance or Medicaid or Medicare, and they need to be less than 200% of the current federal poverty guidelines. Primary health cares that we provide include blood work, x-rays, prescriptions, so on. What we're here for today is to let you know that this clinic we now have here in New Smyrna, we want to grow, get the word out about more patients, more doctors to come on board, and we sincerely, I've only got 29 seconds left, so we sincerely appreciate your time, and what we would like to do is come back and give you a full-bore presentation if that would help you at all. But we're just trying to get the word out to the community because these services are so needed. The 32,000 people here in New Smyrna Beach, 62.8% of those folks are under the age of 65. So think about it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your remarks, Carol. Appreciate you coming up. Dr. Nealon.
Susan Nealon, 608 Faulkner Street. And I'm here to give thanks today. You guys have been outstanding. The citizens have been outstanding. We started a nonprofit, Smyrna Cares, in January. By May, which is 5 short months, we've raised over $40,000, which is truly incredible. So you say, oh, and more than just raising the money, we had 15 restaurants donate food, 27 volunteers, and 37 gatherings to go. So you say, what the heck are you going to do with all this money? Well, $709.45 went to overhead. Every single dime has gone to some family in New Smyrna Beach. It's about neighbors helping neighbors. So I don't know whether you guys know, but 2 of your city employees fit in this category. During Hurricane Ian, there was 2 houses that were completely devastated by that hurricane. One of the houses was actually from one of your first responders. The other house was from a city employee whose wife, children, and grandchildren all had to go and live in a hotel in DeLand until their home could be occupied again. So we partnered with Habitat for Humanity, and they have the volunteers, we have the cash through your donations, and we're getting those people back in the homes. So I'm going to just pass this around. This is about the city employee. What they did for that house. And it's really the whole community coming together. So the newest thing is the art community is stepping up to the plate. The artists from the Hub, Jane's, and from the Artist Workshop are donating their art, and we're going to have an art fest at Jane's, and all the proceeds will go to putting the next family in the house. We have at least 3 families that are still displaced from this hurricane. So again, thank everybody. This is an amazing community. It's about neighbors helping neighbors, and I'll leave this thing on the outside, so if anybody wants to pick it up and come and support the arts and support these families getting into homes, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Aaron Denny's, 431 Lunabella Lane, number 209, New Smyrna Beach. I'm here regarding the vacancy for the newly created Community Engagement and Enhancement Committee. I submitted my application to the board about a week ago, and I did send you guys an email, but I just wanted to come here in person just to say that if you were to appoint me, it would be an honor to serve. I've always wanted to be involved in local government. I'm hoping to learn more about how our city government functions. I was able, for the past year and a half, I've been able to serve as an ambassador with our local Chamber of Commerce. I've been able to join the Southeast Volusia Kiwanis Club, and they're some of the nicest people in the world, by the way, at the Kiwanis Club. I've worked in New Smyrna Beach for about 5 years. I work for my family's business, which is Berlin and Denny's Insurance. We've been based in New Smyrna Beach for about 30 years now, or over 30 years. And in my role at the company, I've been able to handle our marketing and our public events, social media advertising, and that kind of thing. So I've been able to be out at many events throughout New Smyrna in the community, sometimes as a bystander, sometimes as a vendor. So that's been enjoyable for me. I do have to break away, though, from my prepared remarks, and I have to say to the Youth Council, good job, guys. That was really impressive. I have to say it's a little refreshing to see younger people taking an interest in their government. So I just wanted to say good job, because I think we can all agree there is a bit of a disconnect sometimes with younger people and the way local government operates. So it's just refreshing. So I just wanted to say that. So thank you for letting me speak. I've been able to meet all of you, I believe, at different events throughout the community. But I just wanted to put a face to the name, I guess, as you consider the appointment for later tonight. So thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your remarks, Aaron. Mr. Williams.
Mayor, Commission, staff, teammates, and Youth Council. What a pleasure. My name is Bob Williams, 767 Pine Shores Circle. I have two things I want to bring to your attention. I've been working with the Parking Task Force, and one of the most important things that we want to do is establish a vision for New Smyrna Beach parking and mobility. And in that, we want to establish this as a world-class destination experience. That's the most important thing. We hear in the industry that often your first and last chance to deliver a good customer experience is with parking. And so I don't have time in 3 minutes to go through all the detail on this, but in terms of that, we want to have goals for the residents who live here. But also when it comes to visitors, one of the things that's become very clear, the beach is an important part of any mobility or parking solution that we have. And we want to include in that experience where as someone is coming into the area, they're notified where there's parking on the beach, or if the tide is coming up that it's going to be closing, then they can be told that, and they can be guided to other assets in our community, whether it's go downtown, on Canal Street, and oh, by the way, we'll notify you when the ramps are open. Also on off-beach parking, and part of this is one of the most important things that I wanted to bring your attention is the county has put out an RFP to put a new automated parking system in, both for the beach and for off-beach parking. They're not talking to us. We've asked them if they could develop an interoperable platform that could be integrated with a platform from the city, and they said, well, that would be nice, but it's not a requirement. And I think that would be a huge mistake, but they've said without the city approaching them and an interlocal agreement, then their hands are tied. So I'd like to work with the staff on that and the Parking Task Force. The other point on the slide 2 is how can we accelerate progress in the by getting more communication between meetings. And after some research on the Sunshine Law, and actually this could maybe even apply somewhat to this commission, there is the opportunity to have communication occur. On page 3, I've actually included from the Florida Sunshine Law website some information that says that you may send written reports to other commissioners on subjects that will be discussed in public meetings without violating the Sunshine Law. I want to commend Kelly she's actually started this process with a web page on her site. Thank you very much, Kelly, for doing that. But that idea is, and I'll wrap up, that the task force members could send to the assistant city manager who's leading that group. He could then send it out to the other task force members, post it on the public website, and that way we could accelerate the progress. So again, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I'm glad I've spoken to a number of you individually. I'm glad to come back at any time and elaborate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your remarks, Bob. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Bell, and I live at 412 Shorewood Lane in New Smyrna Beach. I think I'm almost losing my voice. Mayor Hathaway, oh, whoops, excuse me, I'm so sorry. That's from an introduction I wrote. That's from an introduction I wrote in 2015 when I addressed you all on this same subject. Can you believe it? I mean, you know, at that time I was vice chair of our community HOA and also their representative to the city on working on this problem. It began with my late husband, Christopher Bell, and other community members in 2013. So you can see why I almost laughed out loud when the DOT guy said, you can expect a light there at 2029. My husband didn't make it. I want it to be named the Chris Bell Memorial Light. It may be the Chris and Liz Bell Memorial Light. I have for you tonight an example, some sample of some of the work we've done with you all and DOT. I'm going to give it to the city clerk so she can circulate it to you. It's nothing new in there. You and your predecessors have received everything here. Now, we're not traffic engineers, but both my husband and I hold master's degrees, he in business and me in public health. While our study is not scientific, we have both been schooled in research methodology, and we've adhered to that as much as we could in our studies. There's many things in there that you will find interesting, I hope. And let's see, when I moved here from Orlando, I'm a Florida cracker. I just move around the state. You never know where I'm going to show up. When I moved here from Orlando in 2000, our population was 20,500 people. We began working on this issue in 2013. Our population was about 24,000. Today, it's more than 32,000. What do you think it's going to be in 2029? So I'm hoping that somewhere along the way, we can do something better than 2029. Another long-time issue, matter of fact, you'll find it in the packet, is from April 8th of 2015. We were told that Page Road was going to be paved. See, we have no way to get out. When the traffic is bad, as you'll see some of the photos, there's no way to get out of our area unless somebody's kind. But we were told that it was a top priority. I have the documentation in here. A top priority to get Page Avenue paved through. And finally, you all may or may not remember an FDOT city meeting on State Road 44 in Mission, which was held July 14th in 2017. And it played into that, it's a real bottleneck there, and it plays into the backups all the way back, sometimes to I-95. My question there is, what's happening there? I've never heard anything more about it. Thank you for your time and your interest. I look forward to hearing from you on how things are progressing, and I hope we don't have to wait till 2029 for some relief. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Bell. Appreciate your comments.
Sir?
Thank you for your comments. We
you're
appreciate it. You bet. Dr. Herman.
Mayor, City Commission, staff, and Youth Council. Randy Herman, 108 Esther Street. The first thing I'd like to do is, as several people have said already, is to commend the Youth Council. And one of the things that I was impressed with is the process that you all have learned, that you talked about talking and consulting with people in authority and listening to what they have to say to form their structure and come up with your proposals and your resolution. You've done research, you've explored funding, and you've come up with an action plan. And those are all amazingly invaluable skills that you will have as individuals, but also benefit whatever organization you will work with. So I salute you. The last thing I really like is the fact that you have talked about how to bring art in relationship to activities. Art is a powerful tool for bringing community together, and whether it's, what's it called? A cornhole. The name always throws me a little. Cornhole or chess. It's an amazing way of making parks, even passive parks, become sites for interaction. So I salute you on that. And for all the dog lovers, I know the fire hydrant project will be greatly appreciated. The second thing I'd like to talk to you about is the coalition, New Smyrna Beach Residents Coalition, held a workshop last night, a 2-hour workshop on climate and very practical aspects of how the city itself, particularly individuals in the city, can respond and protect themselves better in the future, as we know we're going to have some pretty rough weather ahead. It was well attended with over 150 people, and one of the things that was outstanding to me was how many of the presenters were right from our community, bringing great expertise to the table, and I think that was a great forecast for the discussion that's going to happen here in the city at the end of May about the hurricane analysis that's being done by the city. So it was really exciting, and some of the tips that were provided were extremely well thought out and helpful. Particularly our fire chief ended it with some very practical suggestions. I would like to add just a comment to that is in my role as a mental health provider, one of the things that I have seen still now is the number of people that still have really post-traumatic stress from what has occurred to them. Families that are still not living in homes, they are struggling with getting homes repaired and not getting payments, so there is a lot of stress. But I think what is being done in very different levels is going to help that as well. And the last thing, am I too late? Do I have one more comment? Okay. This is a little more sort of philosophical, but you may have heard recently that Finland is thinking of joining the NATO alliance and giving up their time-honored non-alignment status. Something about that, I get it because of the aggression of Russia, but what bothers me is the giving up of the non-alignment status. And I bring that back right here to our city. How do we deal with our differences and move forward without taking positions that are concretized and keep us from really communicating? So tomorrow's workshop, I hope there's some really important topics. I think it's about the well-being of our community. I hope we can move beyond some of those blocks that have been developing in the community. So I wish us well tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks, sir. Appreciate that. Is there anything further from public participation? Jess.
Good evening, task force. I see some of you guys last year, commissioners. Let's see how I start today. Don't know why I came here tonight. I got a feeling something ain't right. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair, and I wonder how I get downstairs. Most of you are wondering, am I the jokers to the left, or am I the clowns to the right? Are you in the middle? Well, we're all in the middle, in reality. I say that because I come before you for the fourth time, and the same subject, the MDAs, PUDs, and LDRs. When I first started coming here, I did not know what LDRs were, MDAs, or PUDs. I did my research, and I found a varied, numerous different MDAs that don't always coincide with each other. And what I realized is that it's not the commissioner's fault about the MDA or the mayor's. It's before, this is already baked in the cake before it gets to you. When you see it, half of the times, it's about variants the developer wants to do or ordinance he wants to change here and there, and that's where you get to kind of wrangle and say, we'll give you this for this if you give us that. So in some of the MDAs that I've read, there are a few things that I don't understand. One is there a termination point? If I come to you and say, I want to build XYZ, and I'm going to do it in whatever time I want to. I'll give you an example. The Hyatt. The Hyatt MDA was signed in 2018. Here we are 5 years later. The mall was taken down. There's a fence up there. No progress. In that MDA, I did not see, I could be wrong, maybe I didn't see it all the way through there, a termination point. So it tells me is they can sit there for years, decades if they want to, hang on to the property. And do what? Nothing with it. So it needs to be somewhere along the line that this commission, hopefully, looks at the MDAs before they even get signed, before you get to this point here. Because I'll give you another example. The MDA for the Walmart was signed in 2011. In that contract, on the MDA, on page 7, paragraph 6, it stated, termination point, this contract is in effect into perpetuity, forever, unless the caveat was, developer does not start building within 10 years. So a point that I made last time was that I can buy land out there, 9 years, 6 months, I can build an outhouse. I have met that MDA. I can build something, it's not gonna work, but I built it. I can keep going on forever and ever as a developer, hang on to that property as it is today. Now, that was supposed to be a big box store to the north of Walmart, east of Walmart, now it's gonna be apartment buildings. They came back and amended the MDA. Always happens that these things end up getting amended all the time. So I would recommend and advise the commissioners, the mayor, to look at the NDAs before they get signed by the city attorneys and they go through. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Appreciate your comments, sir. Is there anyone else for public participation? Seeing none, public participation is closed. We'll move to the consent agenda. Does any member of the commission wish to remove an item from the consent agenda for discussion or otherwise? Yes, ma'am. Which one?
I'd like to pull 7B for discussion.
7 Delta?
Oh, 7 Beta. Yeah, 7 Beta.
Bravo. Okay, got it.
7 Edward and 7 Howard.
Any others?
I'd like to pull 7D, please.
7 Delta.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Okay. I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda to approve items 7A, 7 Charlie, 7 Foxtrot, 7 Gulf, and 7 India. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A motion, is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items I listed. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I think at this point, we will allow the Youth Task Force to be dismissed, and we'll take, isn't that right, Kelly?
After the consent agenda.
You want them to sit and listen to this? Okay, very well.
Their item is 7B.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's take up 7 Bravo. Commissioner Martin.
All right. I would like to move to approve this, but with conditions that Resolution 1623 be amended to stipulate that the council will work with and report to the city clerk that the term length is 1 year with a maximum of 2 terms.
Okay. So, okay, so you would like that modified?
Yeah, if I may explain.
Yeah,
right
please.
now, the resolution as written states that the council works with the city manager's office. And for the last 6 years, it's been the city clerk's office, and so I'd like to codify that. And also, the resolution as currently written does not include a term length or a maximum of terms. So I'd like to codify it being the city clerk, that the term length is 1 year, 1 high school year, with a maximum of 2 terms to assure that we have both the continuity that the Youth Council has very wisely requested, as well as to assure that we have opportunities for everyone in the high school to have this opportunity to serve on the Youth Council.
Got it. Is there more? So why don't we do it like this? We have a motion to make an amendment. Let's have a discussion, and then we'll see if we can see if we want to move that and second it. Tell me, City Attorney, if I'm out of line here, and then we'll adopt the resolution as amended, or not. Is that all right? Okay, very good. Discussion items from any of the other commissioners on the resolution with the proposal that Commissioner Martin has offered.
I think you have the amendment before you first. You'd have to adopt the amendment before you adopt the resolution as amended?
I thought, I'm generally asking the question about, can you amend the resolution? Yes, you can. So I believe on the floor now is just, has a motion been made?
Yeah, I did make a motion to approve the resolution, Resolution 1623, but amend it to stipulate that the council will work with and report to the city clerk, and that the term length is 1 year with a maximum of 2 terms. So it's a motion to approve with amendments.
Revisions.
Okay. Changes. You're making, in other words, you're making a motion, but you're not necessarily amending it, you're just making a motion based on your motion. You're changing the original
request. A motion to approve with
request,
2
right.
changes, revisions.
Right. So, yeah, right. So right now, as it stands, if we approve the resolution as it stands, we're saying that these people all work with the city manager, which they don't. They work with the city clerk. So if you read what's in the packet, it states that they are to work with and report to the city manager. And I believe that as long as we are making changes to this resolution, that we should have the correct office.
Is there any technical
Yeah,
issue why?
square us away on this, thank you. Square us away on this, city clerk, city attorney. Can we vote on the amendment as the vice mayor suggests and then vote on the resolution?
I think you all just need to talk about the changes, and she's made a motion, a second for discussion, and then just talk about those changes she's proposed.
Okay,
So,
we can do that. I don't think it's parliamentary correct, but we'll do it like that. I'll speak right off the bat, then. I like the 2-year idea. I don't like the reporting authority. She is the city clerk is the liaison for sure, but the talent and the technical expertise lies within the city manager's purview. And so if they want to do something substantive, it almost has to go through the city manager's office, which, as they've done with Leisure Services and with the CIP and with other places to get funding and what have you, I think it's a little bit convoluted. And as long as the city clerk remains the liaison, I think we're in good shape. So I like your first part of the amendment. I don't like the second. Any other comments? Yes, sir, Vice Mayor.
So in the first whereas, it says section 7.01 of the city charter. So if you're going to amend this, then you'd have to go back and amend the city charter, because it spells out in the city charter that the city manager is the authority over this. As far as the term limits, I'm adamantly opposed to that. High school is usually 4 years. If you get a sophomore, somebody who gets involved in the youth council, then certainly I think that we should support them throughout that whole process. Increasing the board from 5 to 7 is a good idea. It gives you more expansion. But they were the ones that brought the resolution before us through their liaison officer at the high school. So, you know, I'm fine with the way the resolution originally read, but I'm adamantly opposed to both amendments.
Any other discussion from any other member? Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the resolution with an amendment. If we can get a second, we can proceed to either vote it down, vote it up. If it votes down, we'll go back to the original resolution. If it votes up, it will stand. So can I have a second? Just for clarity.
On your original, on Lisa's original motion?
With the amendments.
Okay.
Well,
I'll second for discussion and then go.
Okay, thanks. Because I'm reading the original Resolution 1312, where it enacts the Youth Council Task Force and does not say that the charter does that. It says that the city charter authorizes the city commission to appoint boards to act as an advisory capacity. So I'm not terribly clear on why you think we have to amend the charter, but.
So, reading it, it says, qualified to act in an advisory capacity to the city commission, the city manager, or to any department of the city government with respect to the conduct and management of any property or institution or the exercise of any public functions of the city. So it looks like it doesn't have to be limited to the city manager.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Martin, you've made your point that you think that the charter did not have to be amended. I got that.
And just to also, the reason why I had suggested a maximum of 2 terms is because there had been a request, and I would even suggest that since the youth council is here, that it might be appropriate for them to weigh in on this. But it had been suggested that there was a maximum of 2 terms to assure that there would provide opportunity to more students at the high school. So, but I'm not the expert. We got the experts here.
I think it's a great idea to ask the youth council members whether or not they think they should have term limits.
Okay, folks, now's your chance. This is real government in action. It's not pretty, but this is sausage making. So what do you think?
I believe that if we up the number from 5 to 7, it would allow more students to come in. I do like the idea of having the certain number of terms they can serve. However, high school is 4 years, and I believe that 2 years is a little too short. I know Tillman, Alize, and myself have been on for 2 years now, and Kyla, if she goes through her senior year, will serve 3 years. And I believe that the most you should be allowed would be 3 years. That way we're allowing almost pretty much sophomores through their sophomore, junior, and senior year, kind of limiting the number of younger freshmen, which not exactly excluding them, but limiting the number that would be in it. And I know the outreach to it is mostly students that are already in high school, which would be your sophomores, juniors, and seniors in the next year. And I think that would be good to add the 3 years, but not all the way down to 2 years.
Any other views? Yes, ma'am.
I am also opposed to the 2-year term limit. I just don't think that it's enough time for somebody who has joined the council to, first of all, like, this is my first year. So I think that this year it was mainly just me getting adjusted to the procedures of the council and not necessarily being directly involved as much as I think I could be in another year and in a 3rd year. So I just don't think that limiting the term limit to 2 years gives students enough time to establish themselves in the council and also expand and offer their own insight into the council as well.
Any others with an opinion?
I would definitely like to agree with that point. As much as I'd like there to be a structure to it, to there to be a term limit, at the same time, I would hate if there's a really passionate freshman out there who wants to be part of the council for them to be cut short either at 3 years or 2 years. I feel like that's so short for them to have, especially because it does take time. I was here last year. I had a lot of time to get used to talking at the meetings and to open up to whoever I was on my fellow council members. But I feel like having the opportunity for 4 years would help to flourish as you're part of the council, as well as Mr. Woodard is constantly approving and adding more members. He's reading all the applications, and he chooses the council every single year. So that doesn't necessarily mean they have to stay on for all 4 years, but the opportunity to grow throughout high school, I think we should allow us to have 4 years as a maximum of terms.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I personally agree with that statement as much as I understand the whole idea of a term limit and how that increases different perspectives. Saying that high school is only 4 years, I don't necessarily think there should be a term limit because I think people can grow and learn and possibly even come back and serve in our own government. And I think 4 years, in retrospect, gives them that time to kind of build their experiences, build and learn about different perspectives. So I personally agree that there should not be a term limit.
Okay. Any other views? Go ahead.
Because, I mean, this is my 2nd year, and I can tell you it's been a commitment to be part of this. So I think if there's a member that's willing to be the chairman, then they should be allowed to be the chairman because they clearly have the insight, they clearly have the motivation in order to sit in that chair and lead this council to whatever we may go. So
Appreciate that. Thank you for your remarks and being a part of this decision. This is great. So there's a motion on the floor and a second to approve Resolution 1623 with the following changes. One is to increase the size. That's in there. The other is a 2-year term limit. And the last part is to have them report to the city clerk exclusively, not the city manager. That's the motion that's on the floor with a second.
May I amend that to,
No, ma'am. We're going to vote on that, and then we're going to try again if you want to. City clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Martin?
wait a minute. So we're voting on it, including the term limits. So I will vote no.
Commissioner Perine?
No.
Commissioner McGirt?
No.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
No.
Mayor Cleveland?
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion to take up item 7B, number 1623, as written, or is there someone with an amendment to that?
Motion to adopt resolution 1623.
Second.
And there's a second. Let's have some discussion. Commissioner Martin, this is your chance to make your plea for the other changes.
I will certainly defer to the Youth Council. I would have liked to have seen more of a willingness to mentor new people coming on, but I defer to your choice of no term limits. I will simply say that it seems to me that it's only reasonable to codify what is actually happening and simply have it say report to the city clerk. We're just codifying that which happens, and we have 3 charter officers. None of them report to any other charter officer. If we look at the org chart, they're all on equal lines. So we are simply codifying that which is happening.
Any other comments or questions? We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution as written. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Martin?
Do we include the amendment that the resolution would codify the city clerk? If the answer is yes, then absolutely I agree to the membership expansion.
For clarity, ma'am, no, it's as written, not with any amendments. We have a motion and a second to approve as written in the document. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Martin?
No.
Commissioner Perine?
No.
Commissioner McGirt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the motion carries. Let's move to item 7 Delta, resolution 1823. Is that yours, Valley? Or did?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. The other one threw me for a loop there.
Recognize Manager CIP Todd Alexander. Have you got a report to offer? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Okay.
I had a lot of questions about the dollars, and this is the women's club that has been closed for a very long time. And I'd like a little more information before we approve this amount of money that we have actually planned. We already have the Brandon Center that we've been trying to get revenues from. And not just throwing money at this. I know there's value in a historic building, but we have other issues that we've approved money for without plans. So I'd like to see a plan for this and going forward of why we're investing this much money in a building with it.
Thank you. I understand. City Manager, would you tee this up, please?
Yes, please. I just wanted to kind of make a point that we have received $600,000 from the state, from the historic preservation. And also, we have received $257,000 from the ECHO. That's a matching fund. The 600 is not a matching fund. So for phase one, the project cost is $1,128,795. Out of that, we got about $114,000. So total cost for phase one for the city would be the $257,000, the matching fund from the ECHO, plus the $14,000 and change that we have to make up the difference between the $1,114,000 and the $1,128,000. For phase two, the estimated cost when we did that phase was between $650,000 to $750,000, with the idea that we could go back to ECHO and to the states for additional funding for phase two. So I just want to make sure that the entire funding for this just about it came from the state and from the ECHO. If we don't do this, we would lose the $257,000, and we might even lose the $600 because we haven't completed it. So I just want to make sure that this is on the table, at least so you're aware of it. Todd, if you have anything additional, please do so.
I think you spelled it out very well, and I'd just like to point out that part of the reason we're in this phase is we had a difficult time getting the contractor on board during the early phases. The intent was always to go after a grant for the second phase. And let me reiterate, the first part of the project did include the entire renovation. After doing the initial discovery on the building, we found that there were much more damage with the foundation than we originally thought, and that's how the project got developed into two phases. I went back for an ECHO grant extension just recently, and ECHO is requesting that we commit to this. So part of our plan was to identify additional structural issues that may be within the structure before we start going into the second phase of plans, and we can't do that without peeling some of the pieces in the onion apart with the building. So, and when ECHO requested the extension, they gave us a very short time frame to provide a resolution for the extension. So we're kind of stuck in a hard place right now with that.
What's the total cost for the whole renovation to be able for us to be able to rent that building out? What's going to come out of our general fund?
So the total cost, not talking general
For both
fund,
phases,
for both phases should be just under $2 million. Now, that is going after grant funds, though.
If I may answer this question. So we have phase one as $1,128,000 and change, and then the second phase is about $750,000. Now, the first phase, we will be receiving $857,000. So general funds would be $371,000. And how that number came is the $257,000 plus $114,000. You will have the $371,000. That would be general fund money that we spend on the building for phase one. Phase two, the estimated cost, as I mentioned, is $650,000 to $750,000, assuming that it's the high end, the $750,000. If we receive funding from ECHO, we could actually apply up to $600,000, which means the $300,000 match. So out of the $750,000 will be $450,000 general fund, or if we get additional funding from the states. So hopefully that answers the question.
And this is for repairs only or for total remodel?
Total remodel. Talking phase one and phase two.
So for clarity, one more time, if you don't mind, Mr. City Manager, the total cost for phase one and phase two, contribution from the city versus the total for the whole, one more time.
For phase one, it would be $371,000. For phase two, right now, the estimated cost without any funding is $750. However, I think in September, Todd, if I'm not mistaken, we could apply for ECHO, and you could apply up to 600, which means it's 300,000 matching fund. And then we also could have the states to apply for additional funding as well. So the worst case scenario, if we don't get the funding for phase two at all, it'll be just general funds. It would be $1,121,000 from general fund. If we get the ECHO funding and the state, it probably would be that number minus either 600 or 750.
Got it. That's helpful. And a little bit concerned that we've already accepted some money and we've already started down the path, right? So we're already on the path, and I worry about the optics of telling the people, the grantors, and we're using grant money or gift money for some of this already. Let's say we turn it off. Now we have thrown their money away, and that I worry about the optics about it, about going back to the well again and them labeling us differently.
What it does too, Mayor, if I may, not only that would jeopardize this project, but it would jeopardize down the road projects. Because what happened when next time you wanted to apply for another project, they'll say, well, did you make up your mind? I mean, so that kind of just put us in a limbo there, but.
Yeah.
But again, whatever the commission wishes.
I feel compelled to give some history on this. It's a lot of money. We knew it was going to be a lot of money. We have a lot of residents who come in. Right now, you don't see anybody because we're funding it, we're taking care of it. The big questions were, what do we do with this aging building that's going to ultimately cost millions of dollars to fix? We have a strong current of people in the community who want us to preserve our historic buildings. There was a big push for that. We put off as long as we can doing this remodel, but we got to the point where it's simply doing repairs. We're going to be much more expensive than doing a repair than having to do the remodel. So I mean, we agonized for years over this, and really the defining point for me is I have the residents in the community telling this commission, not this commission in particular, but the previous commissions, that we're an old community, a historic community. We need to protect our historic buildings. And those were the taxpayers coming in wanting that done. So ultimately, it was either let the building rot and tear it down one day, or have to put the money in to restore it. So the commissions got to the point where staff was like, we're going to either have to do one or the other. You can't just sit there keep putting money into little patchwork repairs. It's always expensive. This building was going to be, $1 million and went up to $6 million roughly. So anytime you preserving historic buildings are very expensive, especially old big buildings like this and the Women's Center. So that's how we got to where we are. To make the matter more complex, we started this years ago. Government is a very slow process. So now we're here with a booming economy, construction prices are very high, but we also have Volusia Forever putting in money. And by the time you get all the pieces fit together, you can't pick the exact timing of when that's going to happen. So that's ultimately how we are here today, looking at, $1.1 million or $1.2 million in general fund expenses to preserve a historic building, a city-owned historic building. And and I have no issue with any commissioner disagreeing with that and making a point to go in a different direction. That's certainly each person's own personal opinion, and certainly would not offend me in any way. But that's how we got to where we are here today.
Do you have a plan in the past, Commissioner, what you're going to do with this building once you spend the $1 or $2 million?
It's like the Brandon Center. It's a city-owned building. We can come up with any plan we want, but ultimately, it is going to be the residents who decide what we do with it.
Commissioner McGurk, just to follow on the question, and maybe the city manager knows, or leisure services, what is the utilization rate? How good are we at making that building available? Not that's the wrong words. How much does it get used when it's up and up? Is it booked all the time, or is it a sleepy hollow?
I mean, it's like any other city facility. It's not booked 24/7, but it's booked at some organization. They booked it. You have some weddings. It's almost like the Coronado Civic Center, and also like the Live Oak Center, and also like the Brannan Center. But I cannot sit here and tell you it's booked 24/7. It's not.
It's not an issue of getting a positive return on investment. That's never going to happen. It's public sector, not private sector. And really that particular building is the shining example of, is the city going to invest in and protect old historic buildings or not? And so it was never intended to be set up as a positive return on investment, and it gets used depending on who wants to use it and how much they want to pay at any given time.
Very good. I have to admire Commissioner's physical-minded responsibility, and I'm grateful for having that spotlight on that. And I struggle with how I feel about that, honoring our buildings, honoring what other commissions have done, previous commissions have done, and not undoing that. So it's a tough one.
So
Any other
I
comments?
guess with 30,000 citizens in this community, would this trigger a need to raise your taxes for a building that's called the Women's Club? Is that a good future use for that building when we don't keep the Brannan Center occupied, fully busy now? And Live Oak, they're not rented that often, and do we need another building?
Commissioner Martin, you have a remark?
Yeah, well, I was thinking that the Women's Center's been closed for quite a few years. Before it was closed, it was a popular venue, and it was used quite a bit. And the cost difference between the Women's Club and the Brannan Center is significant. So it was a reasonably priced facility, which, as I recall, had some decent acoustics, which can't be said for, say, the Live Oaks Cultural Center. So I really think it adds value. And Colin, how many millions did we spend on the building we're in?
This one here? Between 5.5 to 6 million.
Yeah, so for where we're sitting now.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we do value buildings of historic significance. So I am inclined to think that it adds value to the city.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other comments from any other commissioners? Okay, we have a motion and a second. I believe we do. Is that right? Or no? We have no motion. Okay. Is there a motion to approve, is there a motion for item 18, resolution 1823?
Move to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perine?
No.
Mayor Cleveland?
No. Motion carries 3-2. All right, item 7, Echo, 7E. Who has that one for consideration?
Commissioner Martin.
Commissioner Martin?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. The convenience fee. I understand that it's a insignificant amount of cost and staff time to process cash and checks, but I'm not awfully sure what you do if you're standing at a parking kiosk and you're faced with a convenience fee for using your credit card when you don't really have an option. I would be perfectly willing to consider an increase of fees across the board, which would cover the cost, because I know charge cards are expensive to use, but rather than come up with a convenience fee which may confuse or upset some people, just make a modest across-the-board increase in fees and get that line item off the table.
Got it. I see the finance director there with insight.
Well,
Natalia.
I agree with Commissioner Martin. We definitely need to look at the structure of our rates, and it's time to increase in some. We continue looking at the ways to increase, but this is a different issue right now. So I'm not against increasing rates in general, but credit card fees becoming very expensive, extremely. So right now we're looking at a saving of about $200,000, actually even more. And I had a meeting with one of our merchant account payment processor, and they informed me that we're actually looking at another increase very soon.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Yes, sir, Vice Mayor.
So this was an idea I started 2 years ago, I think.
Correct.
Because of the high fees that we were paying for credit card charges.
Mhm.
As far as the issue with the parking thing, we're limited by state statutes as to what we can charge for parking. So this, we're limited to what we can charge, and yet they're using credit cards, and we're paying for them to use their credit cards. I think this just needs to go on to the consumer. I don't think that you can go around town today to a number of services, and you won't find that you're not paying a convenience fee to use your credit card. I mean, my electrician has a convenience fee if I give him a credit card. You go over here to local restaurants on Flagler, they're charging you a 2.5% convenience fees. And especially, the amount of money that runs through the building department and how much of that is done on our credit card, it's $200,000. I would bet it's even going to be closer to $250,000.
Right.
So where you're looking at money to fund projects down the future, we need to make people pay for them to use their credit card so that they can get their points or their benefits or whatever it is they're looking for.
And travel,
And-
with
yeah,
miles.
Right. So, this is one of those ways where the conversation started 2 years ago is how do we recoup our costs? And some of the vendors that we've used over the years, originally started out at 2%, down to 2.5%. We have one that's going to be 3.2. My only question about this particular resolution to staff is rather than base it on a 2.5 to 3 with a $2, wouldn't it be easier for you to just charge a flat 3%? To use
Yes.
a credit card, period, and it reduced, then you don't have to go back through and say, well, does it meet the $2 minimum, or is it a 2.5 deal, or is it, if we just do a flat 3% across the board, everybody's paying the same thing, and, we're still gonna have some cost because this last vendor is 3.2%. But
Yeah.
it'll make up the difference. Otherwise, we're gonna be fighting with Tallahassee to raise parking fees or, whatever, and this is the easiest way to do, at least to recoup the money that we're spending to allow them to use the credit card.
Could I just?
I support it, but only with the amendment that it goes to a flat 3%.
I just a question. When we're at the parking kiosks or any place where Tallahassee has control over the parking fees, do we have the ability to put on a convenience fee? Because, functionally, if the parking kiosk, for example, and I don't know, what is it, $20, $25 at the parking kiosk?
20.
Functionally, they don't have a choice. They have to use a credit card.
So for the parking kiosk, there is a detail now. We are switching to a new vendor. We're in the process.
Yeah.
So I did not have chance to contact that vendor yet. We're in the process of switching. But I don't see any problems why we wouldn't.
So Tallahassee would allow us to put this convenience fee on the parking fee?
I would imagine yes, but I have to recheck that. So
Okay.
you're talking about like I would do it technically, or?
Well, no, my understanding was that doesn't Tallahassee or the county limit what we can charge for
But that
certain?
was on the parking tickets, not on the parking fees.
On the parking
Right.
fees, okay. So we could just as easily increase the parking fee and not call it anything, but increase the parking fee 3% or 4%, which would accomplish, what you're saying. It just is less
Right, but
complicated.
What does that do for everything else? And then staff's gonna have to deal with parking.
Oh, no, I'd
kiosks.
happily put 4% across.
But you can't, And you can pay cash at the parking kiosk. It takes cash.
Does it take?
Yes, it does.
Oh, okay, I did not know that.
Any other questions? Okay, Commissioner, Vice Mayor, did you want to make a motion with your amendment?
I'd make a motion that the fee structure be at a flat 3% across the board for everything. And then I'd make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023 with that amendment.
I have a motion to adopt Resolution 1823 as amended with a flat fee of 4%. Is there a second?
Resolution 2023.
2023.
I believe it was 3%, not 4%.
3%? Okay, thank you. 3%. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have the motion to approve 2023 with the amendment of 3% flat fee. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Perine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Very good. One to go here, 7 Hotel, 7H. It's the grant application for the construction of the boathouse. Whose is that?
Okay.
Commissioner Martin.
It seems to me this is another example of overlooking the total cost of using grant money in new projects and acquisitions. And Sean, I love you, but I thought I was told originally when I asked where these were going to be housed, that they would be hanging the boats in the firehouse. And so and while we're applying for a grant, we're still responsible for 25% of an unknown amount of money. It's
Okay.
like there wasn't a limit, just.
So to clarify one item, when we were talking about hanging the boats in the firehouse, those are John boats that we use for high water rescue. They're little John boats. That's all they
So
are,
which
for water rescues during flooding. The police and the fire vessel were both purchased out of impact fees. 26-foot whaler for the police department, for us a Lake Assault aluminum craft. 200 horsepower motor, fire pump, all that. It's a boat. It's an actual rescue boat with a fire pump, dewatering pump, and it's on the water all the time.
So these aren't the Johnny boats, these are the
Correct.
two, okay.
Correct.
So wouldn't it be more conducive to a rapid response if they were moored, for example, at the Anglers Club Marina? I mean, it seems to me it doesn't exactly set up for a rapid response if we have to house them, get the boat, get the
Sure.
pickup.
So the intent of this application for a grant is for a boathouse on the water. The boats are in the water at all times. They're lifted on davits to keep them out of the salt water, but they are basically hovering above water for deployment by either the police department or fire department, depending on the need.
Where would this be moored?
So that would be up to Fish and Wildlife and those other agencies that dictate where we can put anything. Right now, we're looking at either the AOB site or the swoop plant. Another suggestion was Surf and Racket Club, somewhere in that vicinity of property that we own. So again, this is nothing more than a consent item to apply for a grant. We're not committed to funding this project in any fashion. We're applying for a grant through the Department of Homeland Security for port security.
And I appreciate that. Nevertheless, as it was written to us for this commission meeting, it just says that we would be responsible for the total amount. And I'm saying, okay, total amount of $10, total amount of 10 million, bigger than a bread box, smaller than a Taj Mahal. There's just no containment of this 25% of.
I understand that. And the anticipated cost with permitting, design, and construction would be around $500,000. If that were to come to fruition, if we were to get approved for the grant and that cost were realized, the cost to the city would be $125,000 out of the general fund, or perhaps fined or fire department and police department impact fee. So that 25% portion of $125,000 may not even come out of general fund. More likely, since both the police and the fire vessels were purchased out of impact fees, it could be used to offset that cost as well.
So if we were to suggest an amendment to the motion simply to say not to exceed, what would be a reasonable amount to stipulate that it will not exceed X number of dollars?
So the application cost to the federal government would be for $500,000. So our not to exceed would be $125,000 of city funds.
Okay, and
that would be the not to exceed.
that's a reasonable statement. Thank you.
Any other questions for the chief?
Not
Go
only
ahead,
that,
Mr.
but I just
City
want to we include that we seek either find funding or make sure that we use impact fees and not general fund fees for it, for that 125.
Vice Mayor.
I'm confused because we don't know what it's going to be until we actually do the design and get the determination from FWC where it can go and
Correct.
where would be the best location.
Correct. And that's the difficulty of constructing anything over salt water is we're going to have, there are unknowns where we're at. So I think it's appropriate to put a limit on that. That way you can anticipate what the cost is going to be. If we fail, if we are successful in obtaining the grant and we find out that it doesn't cover it, then we just apply for it again. We surrender the grant back to Homeland Security and apply for it all over again.
Well, we basically did that because we know that we can only get 500,000 from them, right?
No, there's no limit on what we could do.
Okay.
Aside from what you decide here, up here on the dais.
So why would we put a limit on it if you're going to limit it to 125,000 and they actually give you $1 million, but you have to pay 25% of the grant, right? It
Correct.
says- So, yeah, it's hard to do it until you actually have a look
Correct.
at what it is, what the design
Absolutely.
is, and where we're going with this.
Absolutely.
And keeping in mind is that the police department presented to us at a budget workshop where they want to house it at the police station and build a place for it to stay there, and the costs are going to be borne there to build a garage at the police station and a trailer and a boat and a truck to pull it back and forth. So we don't know what we have until we actually apply for it.
Correct.
And this is just a request to
It's just a request
apply for a
to
grant.
put my foot to put a toe in the sand, if you will. So,
Yep.
or toe in the water.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Chief Vandermark, any other remarks? Any other questions for the chief? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Is there a motion to approve item 7H as written?
Motion to approve 7H.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Perfect. Any other discussion? Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Martin?
No.
Commissioner Perine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for your time. And now, Kelly, is it appropriate for me to dismiss the Youth Task Force? Thank you very much for your participation in your government.
Yeah, of course.
Nice meeting you. Thank you. Yes.
Come back. Don't be a stranger.
I think Mom's ready to go.
Good job. Okay. Nice meeting.
She's already halfway on the floor.
Nice. But I just think it's so good to see the kids involved.
Thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
One more item of business before our reports. I'd like to move on to section 11, which is boards and commissions, the Community Enhancement Engagement Committee.
Point of order?
Yes, sir.
I think Colin had
Yeah.
something that he wanted to present to us.
Oh,
Mayor,
okay.
if I may, I
Very good.
added two items to, under administrative.
My apologies.
items,
Thank you.
New items.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
The first item that I added, Mayor, was the county has requested a letter from us, and that is, the county has received, I guess, from the federal government, that they received funding from the fiscal year 2021, 2022, the share of the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant, they call it the JAG. And that's countywide funds released by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement in July 2022. The house next door, which is it's a group, was awarded the grant funding and requested to withdraw their application. As a program requirement, the county must receive approval from 51% of cities located within Volusia County in order to relocate the funding. They requested that they receive a letter signed by the mayor that the city is approving for them to release $139,000 and $627 to Stewart Marchman Center. Staff is recommending and requesting that the city commission authorize the mayor to sign the letter to be sent to the county.
Very good, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have a proposal to act and to authorize a letter to be written to get this funding across the, to the cities. Requires 51%. Mr. Murno would be considering whether to be in favor of that or opposed. Is there a discussion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve the letter.
Great, we have a motion to approve the letter. Second?
Second.
There's a second. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perrine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your second item is the concrete.
The second item we just received, and I gave you a copy of it. I haven't even read it. This is a proposal from the Terracon. It's the testing for the crushing concrete site. I would like to hold on to this until the second meeting because I haven't had a chance to review it, nor to get the details of it. Kyle got it, but I'd like to just move it and put it as an agenda item for the next meeting, if you don't mind, please. But it's there, so we will make sure that it's on the 23rd.
Just one, also need to identify a funding source.
Yes, and we have the funding source. That wasn't my concern. My concern is just what the content of the scope.
Okay.
And those are the two items before we get to your report, which we'll have later for sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good. Let's move to item 11, please. City Clerk and the Community Enhancement Engagement Committee.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. We had a current member, Nicole Fisher, who is moving out of the area this summer, who sent a official resignation notice to the clerk's office on March 23rd. She filled the seat of the Zone 4 citizen, therefore created a vacancy. We had two applicants, Erin Denny's and Susan Jones, that both live and were confirmed to live in Zone 4 that have applied for that vacancy. And we are asking for City Commission consideration to appoint one of the two applicants this evening.
And how would you like to proceed? Do you want us to nominate or take start with the nominations?
City Commission may nominate up to the number of vacancies, which is one. So each of you may nominate one person.
I'm going to nominate Erin Denny's.
Okay, we have one nomination of Eric Denny. Is there another? Okay. So let us vote on the one nomination then. All right. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Perrine?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Erin Denny, thank you for your willingness to serve, and your speaking up today, and your willingness to be a major part of the city government. Thank you so much. City Clerk's office will be in touch with the paperwork. City Manager, your report, sir.
Yes, just a few things to add to, just as a reminder to the commission, on May the 11th at 11:15, if the commission would be at the Babe James for the employee award events, and also the Boy Scouts dinner on May the 11th, that to support Senator Tom Wright. That's at Sugar Mill. I have made the reservation for 4 commissioners and some city staff. We will have a city table there, so if there's any changes, please let me know. Also, as a reminder, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we will have the historic preservation meeting at the Brandon Center. Staff will make a presentation, and then we'll take any questions. I think Ron has either forwarded or he will forward to you the PowerPoint presentation. So please look at it, see if you have any comments, and respond to Ron before the end of the day. So, thank you very much.
You bet. City Clerk, anything more from your report, ma'am?
No further report, thank you.
Very good. City Attorney, your report, ma'am.
No report tonight.
Very good. Can we go back to your order of business called for tomorrow afternoon? Do you want to kind of share with the commission what's, how you're going to lay out the order of business?
We will have an introduction by the city manager regarding the meeting and also some of the rules during the meeting. I have the assistant city manager will make the presentation. The city attorney and I and other city staff will be present if there's any questions concerning any of the things outside the technical part of this. The questions will be limited to 3 minutes. If we don't have the answer for the questions at the meeting, we will take the questions and we will get the questions and post them on the city website at a later date. So that's the plan right now.
I haven't seen Ron's presentation, but my fear is that the propaganda machines are out there on many sides, and absent him being precise and clear about what things are and are not, my hope was that the city attorney would lead the charge in saying, there are many rumors out there, and her name is cited in many of the work that's going on around. I'd love to have her be clear as a bell on what things are and what things aren't. That's just my view. I'll offer that as a...
And I would like to know, when you're saying what things in and what things not, this specific meeting is about one thing, is, as I mentioned, the lot combination and the height restrictions. It does not address the Chapter 50 at this point. Chapter 50 will be at a later date if the commission wishes. I know that during the briefings, I think some of the one commissioner mentioned that they would like to have an agenda item on the 23rd for the commission to discuss if they want to move forward with this. So at this point is only one item and one item only to be discussed, but no Chapter 50.
Very good. The public will listen partially and will be geared up to talk about a wide variety of things. You'll have to be quite the wrangler to make sure that the conversation stays where you want it.
And I will handle that part of it myself and the assistant city manager.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Now time for the reports from the commissioners. And we'll start with the vice mayor, sir.
So I attended the event last night that was hosted next door by the Residents Coalition, and it was a very informative event. And one of the things that impressed me the most was the Babcock Ranch. So if you get a chance to go visit that website that they mentioned in the meeting last night, it's interesting what you can do with a clean sheet of paper, with vacant land, and how you can predict where your wetlands are going to be and how you can control your water. And all of that is great if you have vacant land to begin with and you start your planning early. Unfortunately for us, it doesn't work here. We're 260 years old and have built on wetlands for years, almost in the entire time. So, but it's interesting to see what people can do. And it was amazing to see some of the things they did as a resiliency standpoint, as a backup system. They did solar, they did backup generation, they provided their own shelter. So a lot of those things, I would encourage you that I can get you the website for the Babcock Ranch specifically part to go and look at some of the things that they've done through zoning and planning But, you know, again, they started with a clean slate. Again, the fire chief was there to make his presentation, along with the utilities had a small presentation. So it was really a fairly good seminar. It only lasted 2 hours, and there was a lot of good information that came out of there. So I certainly appreciate those efforts for those individuals that worked hard to get that up and opened it up to all the citizens. I think both sides had people in the audience, so it was good to see everybody there, and I certainly enjoyed that. And I look forward to seeing you guys at the employee benefits.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Commissioner Martin.
Brief one, I'm asking the City Commission give the city attorney leeway to improve ease of comprehension when considering other revisions to dated resolutions and ordinances. Did I say that correctly, Carrie? Okay. So if the commission could consider that. Personally, I'm continuing efforts to get temporary construction easements for oceanfront properties. This is the Volusia County program to provide a temporary temporary barrier for protection against further coastal erosion. So anyone with New Smyrna Beach oceanfront property who has not yet executed an agreement, please contact me or Kelly McQuillan, if that's okay with you, Kelly. Okay. Big one, Volusia County Cultural Arts funding is in jeopardy. I think we're all aware of this. The County Council is questioning the continued support of this important program that provides grants to 30 or more historical and cultural nonprofits serving over 1 million people in Volusia County. The resulting programs attract visitors and provide revenue to our community. Colin, who in the city staff would know the NSB organizations that have received funding? I know Marine Discovery Center, I know the museum, Hub on Canal, ACA.
ACA. I think that's what I recall.
So a variety have certainly done it, and we know that every dollar expended in the funding for these cultural programs brings more than $1 back in revenue to the community. There'll be a meeting at the Museum of Arts and Sciences May 11th, and I'll be there to see what I can do and would hope that the City Commission would request.
Yeah. And we have also our Leisure Services Director will be in attendance as well.
Okay, at MOAS on the 11th? Great. So I'm hoping the commission recognizes the importance. And just for public clarification, the New Smyrna Beach very clearly established the commission as a collaborative body of 5 equal votes, and with policy and charter officer directives being set by consensus of the commission. So just a public reminder. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Perrine.
I just have 2 things. First of all, May 4th, I want to thank all the citizens that attended our National Day of Prayer. I want to thank the pastors in the community and our mayor and our current commissioners and our past commissioners. And for attending this event, we had a beautiful day, and the lawn looked fabulous. It looked like a park out there. So it was very nice to have everybody pray for our city, nation, country, and the whole thing. I also want to wish all of our moms out there a very happy and wonderful Mother's Day this Sunday. Make sure you give your mom a hug if she's still alive.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner McGurk.
No comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, I have
yes.
just one more. If
Sure.
you don't, and it's directed to Jesse. You're going to have to give me the title of those songs because they roll in my head all night long. So at the end of the meeting, if you'll just jot them down or something. Thanks.
I didn't get tonight, so I was puzzled on it, so.
You leave us pondering often, Jesse. Okay, the governor will sign into law the removing of policing power from any agency other than the sheriff's department very soon. That was announced at the leadership roundtable.
Repeat that again?
The governor will sign into law very soon the bill that removes policing power by any other county authority other than the sheriff's department. What does that mean to us? The beach patrol, which now is triple trained as an officer of the law, as a paramedic, and as a lifeguard, will go back to being lifeguards and paramedics. That is on the doorstep and going to be signed soon. So we had significant, at the leadership roundtable at the airport the other day, a little bit of discussion about that from the county manager and the county chair, that our lifeguard force will go back to doing what they did for many, many years and will not be doing the law enforcement thing. They will up their recruitment. They will keep officers. They will keep lifeguards and paramedics that want to stay on. And the sheriff's department will open with open arms those that want to become deputy sheriffs. And I know some have approached Chief Feldman seeking to become police officers on our force. So that's coming down the road. I don't know if that was public information yet, but I wanted all of my colleagues to know that.
Mayor, if I may add
Yes,
to
sir.
that, just so we are already, the chief and I, we talked a week and a half ago about this. Our concern was that it's going to add, I guess, extra work for us because I heard that they might have one deputy there, which means it's going to increase the calls for our police department. So he had met with the deputy sheriff, and I think they're going to provide 4. So it looks right now, based on what I'm hearing from the chief, that it might not impact us as much as we thought it was going to. But we will continue the dialogue with them just to ensure that we receive the help.
And I think Eric may have gotten some updates just today, some fluidity in the absolute.
And that's what the mayor is like. This is the news came in yesterday, so that's what we're talking about.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, Colin. Dredging of the inlet will resume or start again as early as the winter of 2024. And that is the very, where the Y occurs near the lighthouse where the sand shipped the most. So that'll start winter of 2024.
Mayor, do you know if they're going to be piling that? What are they doing with the sand? Taking it out? Or there's a barrier island between the mainland and the beach side.
Yeah.
And that becomes a problem because there's a lot of noise because they run 24-hour shifts. So I was just wondering if they still plan on stacking, storing sand on that.
I don't know, Colin, did you get that?
My guess would be based on what we saw at the meeting, that this sand will go to the beach.
Okay. So
If
that's
you remember
old
back
pipe. There's an old pipe that went through Sapphire. Is that what they're talking about doing again?
I think it's in 2004 or 6, I think. They have pumped it back to the beach, which that's why they put that pipe under Sapphire. So.
And so, thank you. That'll be of note for our town for sure. As Commissioner Martin had mentioned, there are some, I don't want to call them holdouts, but in all the county, all beachfront property has signed their easements with the exception of 8 NSB properties. And so I think, Khalid, you may have that for action.
Yes, I asked Jessica to give us the 8 addresses so we could actually go, if we wanted to go door to door. I think what happened is some of these people are, I think they're out of town.
I probably have contact information for all of them. I've been working on things one by one.
The 8th one that they have not signed?
I don't know which 8 you're receiving,
Well, that's-
because what I got Friday had a lot more than 8, but it may be just 8 specifics, and I'll be happy to go track them.
But when I get it, I'll share the addresses with you. This way we could see if it's the same ones or not.
The last piece is hurricane season is upon us. We had a prediction from Jim Judge from the county. He talked a bit of a science that we've talked about from time to time, where we're heading toward an El Nino environment in the southern hemisphere, which adds a lot of wind shear, and wind shear is our friend because it decreases the temperatures and allows for less likelihood of hurricane activity. We're concluding a La Nina time, and so the predictions from a variety of places, and I'll have this distributed. Let's just do the national, the Colorado State University was 13 tropical storms, 6 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes. And so we're looking for a down season this year in light of hurricanes. Yeah. The second is a video that the county prepared that, Khaled, I commend to putting on the website. It was a very good hurricane prep video just to get our citizens up and ready and thinking about that type of stuff.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm waiting for Phil to get back. I will take that because I'll be meeting with the directors as my regular annual meeting in terms of the hurricane preparedness. We will put that, the one for Jim Judd, on the sandbags and also on the sandless bag that he mentioned, which is very interesting, an idea. I don't know if you remember what he mentioned. It's full of, looks cotton, I think he said.
Yes.
But I will, as soon as he gets back, we will post that video on our website.
Wonderful, very good. The last note would be that Kevin Captain, the former public affairs officer for the county, will be becoming the emergency response director.
The emergency management system, he will be the director there. So he's just moving from one department to another. And I think that's what he started to begin with. I think his career was in emergency management.
Right, very good. Any by the ways? Thank you for this evening. We are adjourned.